I'm Max McGuire, founder of What a Wonderful Life, and I wanted to make this video to update everyone on the company as well as tell my story with mental health. I started this company as a way to help myself and help others raise awareness and funds for mental health, whether that's people coming up to me while I'm wearing the sweatshirt, just telling me how much the cause means to them and their family, or diving into full stories about their struggles with mental health. It's just reminded me every time of why I started this in the first place. If you know me, I've been pretty open about mental health and keeping the conversation going around the stigma. So I thought kind of nice and beautiful way to share this would be to go along with the next drop, to show people that it's okay to ask for help and that they're not alone. With this, I kind of preface that there's parts of this story that only my close friends know, parts that only my parents know, parts that I've only talked about with therapists I've spoken to, and the main part of it I've never shared or spoken out loud really with anyone. So I kind of want to say that no matter what, I'm thankful for everyone who's been in my life, then and now, who's helped me with all my struggles. I'm very blessed to be given the opportunities I have and have amazing people who have pulled me up when I'm down, supported me, understood what I was going through, as well as just supported the brand and the whole cause in general. The point of this is not necessarily for people to think that they could have done more for me or they should have been there for me, because that's not at all. I was blessed to have amazing friends and family around me the entire time. But it's more so to remind people that there's healthy ways to deal with mental health, that they're not alone, that it's okay to ask for help, no matter who it is, whether it's your close friend, a therapist, your family, even a random person like myself. So without further ado, this is my story. I was blessed to be able to go to Fairfield University after high school and continue my academic and lacrosse career, playing Division I lacrosse there. And so going into my freshman year there, I did everything I could in the fall, trying to outwork everyone I could to put myself in a position to get on the field and play as a goalie.
We've got a new goalie for the Fairfield Stags, getting his first start of the season.
I will never forget the feeling of starting my first college game. It was something that was absolutely amazing. And the night before we played Hofstra, I ended up taking a shot to the thumb, broke my thumb. It happened to be the third time that year I either broke my thumb or hand just while I was at Fairfield. And so we went on, played the next night against Hofstra. We ended up earning a 5-4 victory. And I actually got acknowledged as the CAA Rookie of the Week, something I look at as my proudest moment in my lacrosse career. 2 weeks later, hitting the thumb again, I was done for the season. I came back the next fall, sophomore year, ready to go with this kind of extra chip on my shoulder that I was the starting goalie. I wanted to finish what I started. Around the end of the fall, I ended up dislocating my elbow, which was one of the worst injuries I've ever dealt with. When I was home for winter break, I was a mess. I remembered trying to do a push-up for the first time, literally not being able to get myself off the ground. And immediately I just thought, if I can't even do this, how am I going to be able to play lacrosse? I would sit awake at night and have these moments of overthinking kind of everything. I would think about every worst possible scenario and I couldn't make it stop. I couldn't sleep, like literally think about all these things until I put myself in pretty much a panic attack. And it happened for 2 to 3 weeks straight. I felt like my mind was in a prison. I remember just walking into my mom's room and looking at her and fully broke down. I just remember being able to tell her, like, I'm not okay. I know what's going on with me isn't right. I just didn't feel like myself. And my mom, being one of the strongest people I know, she has had her own struggles with anxiety. She understood where I was coming from and decided the next day we're gonna go to a doctor. He ended up diagnosing me with anxiety and minor depression due to anxiety and prescribed me Lexapro, which at the time, I don't know if it was actually helping me or kind of a placebo where I just thought it was helping me. But I began to kind of collect myself towards the end of winter break. So I went back to school, ready to kind of hit the ground running with lacrosse. And then about 2 weeks later, in warm-ups of one of our games, I took a shot to the head and was just absolutely concussed. I went to the doctor. They told me 3 to 4 weeks sitting in your dorm room, couldn't go to practice, couldn't go to class, couldn't do anything. The panics, the sleepless nights, all kind of started again. I started to feel like the Lexapro was just making me okay. It didn't make me feel good. I wasn't still feeling terrible. It pretty much just got me out of bed in the morning, made it so I could go on with my day, but it wasn't actually fixing the issue. And so being in this neutral state, I didn't really feel like myself, and I had people who started to kind of notice it, and I just kind of said it was a side effect. I didn't really think much about it. And so when I got cleared from the concussion, I just tried to do everything I could to get back on the lacrosse field, and it just really didn't go well for me. I would leave practice every day as quick as possible, go in the locker room, take my stuff off. I wouldn't even shower in the locker room. I would try to just get out of there before anyone really noticed. And I think I called my mom pretty much after every practice in tears, just so angry and pissed off at myself for how I was playing, just not knowing what to do, and started to absolutely hate lacrosse, hate being there. I was begging my mom to let me quit over the phone. I just told her I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't understand why the one sport that was my outlet and kind of gave me stress relief just became something I didn't enjoy anymore. And I would end up just usually back in my dorm, taking a nap or going to sleep or just sitting there doing nothing because I really didn't want to do anything at all. And then there was one night where I was kind of having one of those episodes of overthinking everything. I couldn't think of anything positive. I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was I wasn't myself. My lacrosse career was over. I would never be the same goalie I was. I would never be the same person I was, because I kind of lost the one real passion I had and just hated it. I just couldn't bear being there. And so I kind of had that same trapped in my own mind kind of feeling this night, and all I wanted to do was make it stop. I think I took like 3 melatonin, Advil PM, tried to make myself fall asleep. Just wasn't working. So I got out of my bed and walked into the bathroom of our dorm room and just staring at myself in the mirror. And I remember looking at myself, not being able to figure out who I was. I didn't feel like the same Max I always was, who's usually a pretty happy, laid back, chill person. I hated it. I literally just wanted to make all this end. I remembered I had probably a bottle of probably 7 or 8 pills left from when I injured my elbow. I think it was oxycodone, something like that. And I ended up putting all of them in my hand. I stared back and forth between them and the mirror, thinking about what would happen if I took them all. What would happen if it would finally just make me feel at some sort of peace and just end it, end the thinking and the sleepless nights and everything. Spent probably a solid minute there just debating in my mind. And I remember just dropping them out of my hand, turned around, punched the brick wall in our bathroom as hard as I possibly could, out of just frustration with everything, with that, with myself. Then it turned into just frustration myself for even thinking this way. Just sat there crying in the bathroom for probably 10, 20 minutes. And then I got back into my bed and just tried to bury the fact that that ever just happened, and told myself I would never think that way again. I woke up the next morning with my hand completely swollen from punching the wall. And when I got ass slapped in my hand, I just started telling people I got hit by a shot in practice again, which no one was surprised by. It just kind of went on with my life from there. After that, I felt like I lost everything. I felt like I lost this passion and love for the sport that used to be my favorite thing, and my way of getting rid of stress. I'm sure anyone who's an athlete knows that, playing your sport, going to practice, you kind of put everything on the back burner and just focus on that. It's a time to escape almost. But it just wasn't that for me anymore. I started to think of other ways I could try to deal with all this. And that same winter break when I was home, I started a little project for myself and kind of found a new passion, which was making and designing clothing. I had my grandma teach me how to use a sewing machine and started cutting up designer bags and making clothes, different to make some time. And that first time I set up my sewing machine in the dorm room, I think I just got lost in it for hours. I felt this new passion, this sense of relief of doing something creative, how much it helped me just think more positively, gave me something I felt like I had some worth doing. And it slowly evolved into What a Wonderful Life and me making my own clothes. I decided as well that I was going to stop taking the Lexapro, because I felt like as much as maybe it helped me with anxiety, it wasn't worth me not being myself. And I reached out to a buddy of mine who was also a lacrosse goalie. He had gone through some similar stuff with anxiety, and so I knew he would understand. and he gave me the phone number of one of the counselors at our school that he talked to. So I reached out to her, being able to talk to them. It started just helping me a lot, having people who didn't necessarily know me that well or didn't necessarily have any reason to judge me, and just kind of be able to start dumping out my thoughts to them became one of my new favorite things, and my best way I felt I was able to deal with stress. And I'm sure he doesn't know till this day how much he helped me, but I'm always going to be thankful for him and how much he kind of kept me here in a way. But like I said, I'm very blessed to have all these people around me and who helped pull me up when I was down, even if I didn't necessarily use them or go to them when I should have. And that's why I started all this. It's to show everyone that there's healthy ways to deal with mental health. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to reach out to family, friends, myself, literally anyone. People deal with this all the time. And of course, it's still something I struggle with in different ways, but I've found healthy outlets like creating clothes, creating art. I actually ended up stepping away from the lacrosse team this spring to focus more on myself and focus on these new passions I had. Using this creative outlet at the time just gave me this faith of one way or another I was going to get through it, and it's kind of when I wanted to commit myself to try to help others deal with the same situation in the best way that they can. I look back on that kind of sophomore year as, till now, the darkest point of my life, and I'm thankful to now have so many people around me who support me, support my dreams and aspirations of wanting to design clothing and make art. And I'm just very blessed to still be here and be in the position to share my story fully, which I've never done till right now. This was actually the first time I'd said any of that out loud. So with all that being said, I could not be more excited to share this next collection with you guys. It's Okay, Collection 1 is going to still be based around raising awareness and funds for mental health, with 15% of all the profits being donated to various mental health charities. As well, it'll be based around this character Wally. So without further ado, this is Wally. If you look at him, he's based around the idea of a thought bubble, the shape of his head, representative of kind of the thoughts that go on in your head. As well, he's holding a sign that says it's okay to ask for help in the shape of a stop sign. Underneath the hoodie, it says you're not alone, as well as the number to the suicide hotline, just in case. And as a reminder out there to everyone that no matter what, whether you feel you can't go to your friends and family for whatever reason, there's that hotline out there as a last resort. My goal with all this is to make people feel comfortable going to people, saying they're not okay, and searching for ways to deal with their struggles in a healthy manner. I couldn't be more excited to share this video and next collection with you guys and keep the conversation on mental health going and end the negative stigma, as well as make sure everyone knows they're not alone.